Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Mentorship Corner. My name is Sibiya Nomthandazo. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like, to share, and most importantly, do not forget to subscribe so that you can join the family. To my Mentorship Corner family, welcome back guys. I hope you guys have been keeping well and keeping safe. And yeah, welcome back to another episode. So for today's video, I'm not doing an interview or like an educational video, anything like that. I just want to sum up our November edition. As you guys know, at the beginning of the month, I started a November edition in hopes to basically fuel up in the beginning of genuine and fruitful conversations amongst our male gatherings and male groups. I understand that I'm not a guy, so anything I say, I stand to be corrected. It is purely my opinion. It is an educated opinion in terms of the interactions I've had with a number of guys, in conversation, and the articles that I have read about the issues that I'm going to be discussing. So it is a very well educated opinion. So before I even get to my observation or the lesson that this entire edition has taught me, I just want to dig a little bit deeper and just remind you guys why I started the November edition. So I have my notes. I will be looking down a little bit just to remind myself in terms of not forgetting anything that is important that I need to add onto this video. So the first reason why it's this, let me just ask this question. Do you guys remember why I started the November edition? Do you guys remember the first video I posted when I started the November edition? In that video, I specifically said that I'm not starting the edition to just discuss issues or social emotional topics around men and how they live their lives and how they should actually be living their lives just for the fun of it. I started the edition to actually fuel up the beginning of genuine and fruitful conversations among our male gatherings, among maybe a group of guys going to play golf, so that instead of just talking about soccer, politics, girls, alcohol, clubbing, their businesses, they should actually dig a little bit deeper and also speak about their mental, emotional, and social well-being as individuals, because that I feel plays a very, very vital and very important role in your life, and it also plays a very important role in terms of the type of person that you portray or the type of person that you present to the world on a regular or on a daily basis as a guy. So I am gonna be reading you guys. So I did have a few topics, not just one. I was only fortunate enough to interview one guy. The two other guys that I had, actually three. So the third one was my dad. He had to go back to work, and the traveling back and forth different areas was a bit of a problem. So I was like, let me not put strain on his life already, because he is a little bit busy. And the other two guys are very successful businessmen, so they also, it's year end now, so they are kind of caught up in between a lot of work. So should I have an opportunity to interview these three guys later on in the year or even early next year, I will conduct the interviews and I will be adding them on my November edition playlist. So for the edition, I actually had a couple of questions, so I'm just going to read them out to you guys. The main reason why I'm going to read them out to you is because I feel like if you have been watching, you kind of want to hopefully, yeah, let me just put this out there. You hopefully now want to engage in such discussions. And if you may be thinking about a topic that you can discuss with your peers or your friends, these are the topics I was going to be discussing with the other guys. So the first one is basically a man's role in a relationship and money contributions, gender-based violence, which is a big one in South Africa and the world at large at the moment. Basically a man's opinion about what is happening around the world and what is happening in South Africa in terms of gender-based violence, emotional and physical abuse by women against or towards men, dynamics in the workplace and dynamics in businesses, and what does it mean to love yourself as a man, in this day and age, and time management, which was a very, very important one. So how do you manage being an employee, being a husband, being a father, being a brother, and being a friend to your peers? If you are looking to start those conversations, you can start by using these topics just to gauge and just to begin those conversations, and then you can just build from there. The last thing I want to discuss before I end the video is basically my observation about this whole entire November edition. So when I launched an August edition, I had about 10 or 9 topics, and I actually had more than 10 ladies who were willing to participate. Oh my gosh, who were willing to participate in the interviews, who were willing to participate in the program and in the edition. Whereas with guys, I only had one guy, I think, who actually, two guys who volunteered to participate in the edition. So this observation taught me something very, very important. It taught me that men generally do not want to talk about their social, emotional, and mental issues, or even their social, mental, and emotional well-being as a whole. They just want to keep everything to themselves. They want to talk about things that boost their egos, like their cars, money, business, women, kids, and alcohol, but they don't necessarily want to talk about things that affect their social well-being. And I think one of the reasons why they don't want to do that is because some of those things are closer to home. Some, you could find that there's a guy out there who's undergoing through depression, but because having a discussion with anyone else about the situation may either make them feel less of a man or anything like that, they feel like it's a bit too sensitive to share, and they end up not sharing, which then ends up being a burden that starts affecting people in their lives, like maybe women in their lives, or their kids, or their brothers, or their friends. And then the one most important thing that I feel is the reason why men don't open up as much as we do as women is basically the fact that the society has built what we call a man box, where they have listed the things that make a man and things that make a man less of a man. One of the things that make men less of a man is crying, whereas it's like crying or expressing your emotions, whereas that makes you more of a human actually, and it helps the other people around you to understand what you're going through and understand what is happening in your world. It is deemed by society to be a sign of weakness. So all I'm gonna say before we end is that as a society, we do have a lot of unlearning and a lot of relearning in terms of growing our men, growing our next generation of men, trying to help those who are in our current generation to be better versions of themselves. The reason why I'm saying this is because there's certain things that, it's like the main box basically, there's certain things that we need to just try and do away with. Like, everyone is allowed to express their emotions, and you shouldn't feel ashamed, or you shouldn't feel less of a person or less of a man just because you're expressing your feelings. I'll make an example with gender-based violence. For example, I had a discussion with one of the guys, and he said something very profound. He said, you know what, the reason why gender-based violence is never really going to be eradicated in South Africa or the world as a whole, it's mainly because people are not looking at the root cause. People are going back and they're looking at the victimized woman or the affected or abused woman, but they're not looking to go and see, why did the man beat you up? What was he going through that actually led him to beating you up? Another thing is, as a society, some parents and some families actually teach guys to beat women up if they're not doing what you want them to do, but that's not necessarily what is love. That's not necessarily how we're taught. And it's the same thing with women. Some of us are taught that if a guy hits you, that means he loves you more and he cares more compared to a guy who wouldn't hit you. But those are things that the society has built, and those are things that are around the man box that I was talking about, that the society has put out there for guys to follow in order for them to be perceived as men. Some of them add to some truth, but some of them actually, I feel, make them less of a human, and it actually contributes to some of the social issues that we have as a country and some of the social issues that we have as a society. So that's the main reason. So I'm hoping that after watching this video and after watching the interview and the first video that I uploaded about what it means or who is a man, I hope you guys start these conversations and actually take it a step further and bring them into the dinner table when you're having dinner with your family. Go and have that conversation with your young boy, you know, because building those relationships as well contribute a lot to a young man's life. So without further ado, I am gonna love and leave you guys. I love you guys a lot. Thank you so much for your continuous love and support, and it is goodbye from me and the mentorship corner for today.